Welcome back. Residents of Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, are unhappy about inadequate supply of electricity in the city and the impact it's having on the quality of their lives. According to them, power outage usually lasts for hours and sometimes they don't get enough supply for several days. Our special report tonight takes a look at the dire situation there and how people are having to power their homes and businesses through other energy sources such as solar.
The all too familiar sound of generators competing against each other. A locally fabricated fuel supply mechanism just to keep the flow of electricity for as long as possible. The noise and air pollution from most generators pose health risks to millions of Nigerians, to say the least. But in a situation where homes and offices are mainly powered by these devices, there is hardly a better option. Adequate supply of electricity across Nigeria has been a major problem for many years. In April, the federal government announced that power generation exceeded 5,000 megawatts. Although a far cry from what is required for the entire nation, that translated to better distribution of electricity in some parts of the country. But constant power supply is still a mirage in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, where residents say they get supply for about 10 days in a month and merely 3 hours per day. Those bearing the brunt are entrepreneurs who are already hard-pressed.
At times, like I spend 1,500 naira. So at times you spend the whole this money and you don't even get the customers, like for the exfoliation. At times when you get them, it will pay. But when they do not come, it really does not pay for us.
More buoyant businesses and individuals are turning to solar energy. An increasingly common sight is solar panels on rooftops. Also, street lights are now being powered by the sun, which is in abundance. The distribution company in charge of Maiduguri attributes the problem to the use of an obsolete line for distribution, as well as the damage done by insurgents and vandals on electricity infrastructure.
But our problem is on the allocation. You see, Maiduguri is still on 132 kV line instead of the 330 kV line. So, and because of the obsolete facilities of the network from Damboa, Damboa, Maiduguri, Maiduguri is being pegged to 25 megawatts.
The Borno State Ministry of Commerce is also channeling efforts towards solar energy.
We want to make a profit and we want to make an employment as well. So that market, once if we produce the solar panel, the one we are going to use here in our own industries will take it and the rest will sell it out and we are going to get more income on it.
Along Damboa local government area of the state is a 330 kV line substation being installed. The project, which commenced in 2015, is expected to boost power generation and supply when completed. Until then, the people continue to rely on their self-generated electricity.
Palm wine, an alcoholic beverage from the sap of various palm trees, has over centuries become a predominant occupation of smallholders and individual farmers of Udi local government area in Enugu State, southeast Nigeria. However, in recent times, the business has recorded dwindling profits as a result of the aging trees and what the palm wine traders describe as archaic business and technological models, which affects local and international expansion. Our community report tonight looks at the business of palm wine in Udi.
Without dedication, Andrew Joffo would not rise every day at 4 in the morning to carry out a task he has performed almost all his life. He makes his way to his spot and proceeds to climb the tree of natural wine. He has to be careful though, lest he falls.
This business has helped me and my family, but the challenge is sometimes I fall from the tree. Sometimes when I climb halfway and realize the tree is slippery, I put in effort to maintain balance. In cases like that, the only option is to make your way down and go up again.
The crow of the rooster signals the beginning of business for the palm wine community of Udi local government area in Enugu State, southeast Nigeria. Jerrycans being filled with the alcoholic beverage can be seen at almost every turn. Here in Udi, palm wine is a household name.
Palm wine is very unique in doing something, traditional activities in Udi. Like if we are doing masquerade something, we use palm wine to do it. If we are doing meetings, we are using palm wine.
Palm wine joints are never empty in Udi. However, what the people love more than the local consumption of palm wine every day is the local consumption every day combined with an overflow for export. But the absence of sufficient capital to acquire adequate storage and preservatives makes it a hardest task. However, this professor of agriculture at the Enugu State University believes the government can support the people with this.
I see a future, but we need to galvanize this future, bring the potentials, come out with specific policies, to help us to move this market forward.
Another problem the business faces is the number of trees available for tapping, which this man says is dwindling as a result of aging, and wants the state government to take urgent action.
We don't get as much wine as we used to. Now, when you tap about 25 old palm trees, you might be collecting just 10 liters of wine. We need government to intervene in this area and also help in the processing.
This, the Commissioner for Agriculture says, is being addressed by the state government.
We got about 30,000 seedlings this time around. We're cultivated into nursery, and we're waiting at a point where we will now advance it to the people that will put it on ground. The issue is that we have leveled out a measure whereby the extension officers will check and know if these people are cultivating those ones that are procuring from the Ministry of Agriculture.
Palm wine is one gift of nature that has shown it can provide a source of income both locally and globally. But that depends on how well the potential is tapped.
Staying in the region, the wife of the Anambra State Governor, Ebele Obiano, has restated her commitment towards making life better for the downtrodden in society. She made this known during the 2018 Community Intervention and Empowerment Tour of 21 local government areas, where she distributed bags of rice, school bags, mosquito nets, and financial support. Mrs. Obiano also charged women to get more involved in politics, as this will reduce the stigmatization women face in governance. The wife of the Anambra State Governor, Ebele Obiano, arrives at the Onitsha South headquarters, venue of the event, where she's expected to make a lot of downtrodden people happy. It's the 2018 Community Intervention and Empowerment Tour, and men, women and children are here to receive from the largesse bags of rice, school bags, mosquito nets, and financial support. For this gesture, she's well appreciated.
Your Excellency, I thank you very much for touching lives of people that will not do anything for you. You're touching the lives of women and the less privileged. Even made the difference. You're not doing something so that you get something in return. No, you're doing it from your heart.
What she's doing today is extremely remarkable. Mommy has come here to put smiles on the faces of the downtrodden, to give hope to the hopeless, and to give voice to the voiceless. So I am really, really happy to be here, and what she's doing is worthy of emulation.
The tour then takes Mrs. Obiano to Onitsha North local government area, where the same treatment is being meted out to the poor. The reception is the same as the first. After the distribution, she encourages the women to be more vocal in political matters.
Mothers, you all saw how the 2018 Annual Mothers Summit went. It was quite elaborate, and God used the wife of the Vice President to bless us that day as she graced the occasion with her presence. What we pronounced was for women to be given more opportunities to participate in politics because we are equal to the task. We must all come out and vie for positions, including for presidency. Just come right out.
Aguta and Anocha local government areas are also graced by the governor's wife. The tour ends with a promise from Mrs. Obiano that an empowerment program is on its way to benefit about 3,500 people across the state. And now to the arts. Chinyere Roberto is a multi-talented artist who is being able to use natural objects to create her art. Our Trivia Tonight takes you to the House of Chi.
Chinyere Roberto is not your everyday kind of artist. One can call her a creative mind who uses all sorts of materials around her and turns it into art.
I just found myself doing this. It's what I have in the inside of me. It's actually a gift. So it's what keeps me alive, what keeps me strong, what keeps me going. If I don't create something like in a day, I'm not really myself. So this is what I do, basically. I love to sit and create things. I love to see what my hands has made.
Art House visits her studio to see how she works. She begins by telling us how her journey began from the Fine and Applied Arts Department of the Delta State University, Abraka.
We were never given the opportunity to use the computer to help ourselves become free, get to produce things with our own hands or get to work with our own hands with the computer then. Okay, so that was where I learned lettering basically because we had to do graphics manually.
The words of veteran French artist Edgar Degas is the mantra that guides her daily, and that's why she's gladly sharing her knowledge with the world. This passionate artist is always exploring new ways of engaging her materials. She tries to do it her way and leave a piece of her on the work.
I'm not a lazy artist. I don't look for the easy way out, the quick way out. Like when we talk about painting now, we have some artists who are specialized in the area of painting, basically. So they focus on painting. But I think they need to really sit and discover themselves more.
This artist wants to make people see that with a creative mind, the options are limitless.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Aruna Quadri makes history as the first Nigerian player to win the ITCF Challenge Nigeria Open in 5 years. That's on Sports News. Stay with us.